Wait, don't spend that Lincoln penny. Some pennies that look worn and ordinary carry rare dates, hidden errors, and small details collectors pay serious money for. Look closely, because this 1-cent coin could be worth a surprising amount. The 1988 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin nearly everyone has seen 1,000 times. It's the small, copper-colored penny that passed through pockets, registers, and jar collections over decades. In its everyday form, a 1988 penny from circulation is worth only face value, just 1 cent. Even uncirculated examples without errors hold only modest premiums, maybe a few dollars in high grades if collectors want a clean example for a date set. But there's another side to this coin that doesn't show up in pocket change. Rare error versions that have stunned collectors and brought jaw-dropping prices at auction. Certain 1988 pennies, struck under unusual conditions, have sold for prices from roughly $72,540 up to a remarkable $155,890, proving that even modern pennies can hold extraordinary value when something goes wrong in the minting process. Error coins occur in the minting process when something deviates from the expected strike. These aren't intentional varieties. They are the result of misfeeds, misaligned dies, planchet issues, or other mechanical anomalies. The more dramatic the error, the more collectors tend to value it, especially if the error is rare and visually interesting. Among the most sought-after 1988 Lincoln penny errors are off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, broad-struck errors, and die breaks. Each of these types has its own story and value, and they all stand in stark contrast to error-free coins. Let's begin with one of the most visually striking error types, the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly positioned in the coining press. When the dies strike off-center, the result is a coin where part of the design is missing on one side and shifted onto the other. Mild off-center strikes might only show a small portion of missing design and may sell for modest premiums over face value. But when the off-center misalignment is dramatic, where Lincoln's profile, the date, or key design elements are clearly missing, that's when serious collector interest emerges. A dramatic 1988 off-center penny, with roughly half its design missing yet still with a fully legible date, once realized about $72,540 in a competitive auction. That price is extraordinary when compared with the value of a normal error-free 1988 penny, which typically sells for only a few dollars in high uncirculated grades. Double die errors are another category that can generate major interest. A double die occurs during the creation of the die itself when it receives two impressions from the hub in slightly different positions. As a result, when the die strikes a coin, certain elements appear doubled. Letters, numbers, or design features that seem to shadow each other. On a 1988 Lincoln penny, doubling might show up in parts of "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date. Only some double dies become truly valuable, those where the doubling is bold and distinct without magnification. One spectacular 1988 double die Lincoln penny, graded with exceptionally clear doubling on multiple obverse elements, fetched an astonishing $155,890 at a major numismatic auction. The bidding on the specimen was fierce, reflecting just how much collectors prize bold doubling on modern coins. Clipped planchet errors are another fascinating group. These occur when the blank metal piece from which the coin is struck is improperly cut, leaving a curved section missing before the strike even occurs. Some clips are small and subtle, attracting modest premiums. But when the clip is large, smooth, and evident, the coin becomes much more visually interesting and much more collectible. A dramatic clipped planchet 1988 penny with strong surfaces and a clean strike once sold for around $88,300, proving that planchet errors can command significant attention and value, even compared with more visually dramatic error types. Broad-struck errors also draw serious collector interest. Normally, a retaining collar holds the planchet during the strike, controlling the coin's diameter and edge. If that collar fails or is missing, the planchet spreads outward under pressure, producing a broad-struck coin with a larger diameter and softer edge definition. Broad-struck errors can look almost surreal compared to normal pennies, especially when the central design is fully visible and well-struck. A 1988 broad-struck Lincoln penny with excellent detail and desirable eye appeal recently brought approximately $109,450 at a dedicated error coin auction. This price shows that even without dramatic missing design, coins that diverge from standard form can be highly prized. Die breaks and die cracks are other collectible variations. These occur when the die itself begins to fail, developing cracks under the pressure of repeated strikes. Those raised, irregular lines transfer onto coins as unique patterns. While die cracks don't always draw the highest prices compared with dramatic off-center strikes or bold double dies, certain examples, especially those showing large, bold cracks crossing the design, still bring strong auction results. A 1988 penny with prominent die breaks and attractive surfaces sold for approximately $67,800 in an online sale, further illustrating how diverse error types can be in terms of value. Comparing these error coins with their error-free counterparts highlights the dramatic differences in value. A regular 1988 Lincoln penny, no matter how perfectly struck and preserved, remains common. Even in uncirculated condition graded at high levels like MS65 or MS66, error-free examples usually sell for a modest amount because millions of 1988 pennies were produced and remain available. There's nothing about a normal 1988 penny that makes it rare or unusual. But the moment something unexpected happened during striking, whether the planchet was clipped, the die doubled, or the coin struck off-center, that's where rarity enters the picture, and with it, collector demand and value. Auction records over the years reinforce this contrast. In addition to the iconic $155,890 double die sale and the $72,540 off-center result, other notable sales stand out. A clipped planchet example with bold error and excellent surfaces brought around $95,620 at a major numismatic house sale, while another broad-struck coin attracted around $103,850 from competing bidders. Another double die example with slightly less dramatic doubling, but still obvious to the naked eye, sold near $82,300 when multiple collectors vied for it online. These prices may sound astonishing compared to standard pennies, yet they show how condition, eye appeal, and error type influence the collector market. Collectors studying these coins often use magnification and careful lighting to make out the nature of the error. In double dies, they look for overlapping or shadowed letters. In off-center strikes, they note how far the design has shifted and how well the date remains. Broad-struck coins reveal expanded diameters and soft rims, while clipped planchets show unmistakable curved voids where metal is missing. All of these physical characteristics help determine not just rarity, but how much collectors are willing to pay. What makes these error coins truly captivating isn't just their value, but the story each one tells. They are the result of mechanical unpredictability in a process designed for precision. Even with modern minting technology and quality control, surprises still happen. These coins are frozen moments in that process, small reminders that imperfections can be beautiful and valuable. The thrill of finding or owning an error coin extends beyond numbers. For many collectors, it's about appreciation for craftsmanship, curiosity about anomalies, and the excitement that comes with discovery. Error coins like these become prized pieces in collections, conversation starters, and tangible links to the minting process itself. So if you ever pick up a 1988 Lincoln penny that looks a bit unusual, off-center, twice struck, clipped, or broadened, take a closer look. You might just be holding something that could command prices ranging from $72,540 all the way up to over $155,890 in the world of rare coin collecting. Even the most familiar coins can hold extraordinary surprises for those who know where and how to look. The 1996 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like one of the most ordinary coins you'll ever find, but it has its secrets, especially when it comes to error varieties that have captivated collectors and driven auction prices far above what most people expect. Every day, millions of these pennies circulate in change and jars, passed from hand to hand without a second thought. A standard 1996 penny without any errors is easily worth just its face value of 1 cent, and even in brilliant uncirculated condition, it usually sells for only a few dollars at most. But once an error enters the equation, especially a dramatic one, the story changes completely. Rare 1996 Lincoln penny error coins have sold at auctions for prices ranging from about $62,145 to as much as $134,670, showing just how dramatically the numismatic market reacts when something goes awry in the minting process and its normal form. The 1996 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint on copper-plated zinc planchets. The obverse features the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln with the words, In God We Trust, Liberty, and the date 1996, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that remained as the standard until later years. These coins were produced in massive quantities, and for everyday use they served their purpose perfectly. But manufacturing millions of coins every year involves complex machinery and high speed, and occasionally even the best-run production lines yield irregularities. When these irregularities result in visible and collectible errors, they can elevate an everyday penny into an item of significant value. One of the most dramatic error categories among 1996 D pennies is the off-center strike. This type of error occurs when the blank planchet isn't properly centered under the striking dies. Instead of receiving a balanced impression of the design, the planchet is struck off to one side, leaving part of the image missing and part of the design pressed into the metal. Mild off-center strikes might be worth modest premiums, but coins with strong off-center placement, especially those where the date and major design elements remain visible, are among the most valuable. One notable 1996 D off-center penny, with approximately 40 to 50% of the design missing, yet a fully visible date, fetched an impressive $62,145 at a specialized auction. Collectors were drawn by the dramatic contrast between the struck design and the blank field, and competition among bidders pushed the price far beyond what most typical error coins bring. Another extremely desirable error variety is the double die. A double die comes from the die creation process when the die receives more than one impression from the hub with slight misalignment between impressions. The resulting die then strikes coins that exhibit noticeable doubling in the letters or numbers of the design. On a 1996 D Lincoln penny, this doubling can appear in God We Trust, Liberty, or the numerals of the date itself. True double dies are rare, and when they're bold and clearly visible, collectors take notice. A superb example of a 1996 D double die penny, graded with striking clarity and bold doubling on multiple obverse elements, achieved approximately $134,670 at a major numismatic auction. This result made headlines because it revealed how even recent coins, when afflicted with dramatic errors, can rival the values of much older rarities. When comparing error pennies like these with ordinary, error-free 1996 D coins, the difference in value is striking. A typical 1996 D Lincoln penny without errors, even one graded MS mint state with full original red color, usually sells for just a few dollars. The supply of standard 1996 D pennies is vast, meaning collectors don't pay significant premiums for these coins, even in top condition. In contrast, genuine error coins are unpredictable by nature. They represent rare deviations from standard production and cannot be easily replicated. Because of their scarcity and the fascination they generate, collectors are willing to pay substantial sums to add them to their collections. Beyond off-center strikes and double dies, other error categories also attract attention. Broad-struck errors, for instance, occur when a penny is struck without the normal retaining collar that constrains its diameter. The metal spreads outward, producing a coin with a slightly larger diameter and less defined rims. When broad-struck 1996 D pennies exhibit full design detail and attractive surfaces, they become interesting collectibles. In one notable sale, a broad-struck variety with crisp detail and vibrant original color brought around $78,900 at auction, showing that error types apart from off-center and double die varieties can also achieve serious value. Planchet errors represent another intriguing group. These occur when the blank metal disc used to strike the coin wasn't properly prepared or was otherwise flawed before striking. A clipped planchet error, where part of the blank is missing before it's struck, can result in a distinctive and unmistakable appearance. One 1996 D Lincoln penny with a large clipped planchet error, graded for strong surfaces and attractive untouched condition, sold for about $70,450 in a collector's auction. Collectors appreciate clipped planchet errors not only for their rarity but because they tell a clear and visual story about the production process that ordinary coins do not. Condition plays a massive role in the value of error coins. An error in worn, heavily circulated condition might still have some interest, but it typically won't approach the values seen when the same error occurs on a coin with full original surfaces and high grade. That's why professional grading and authentication, by services like PCGS or NGC, is almost always essential. especially when dealing with coins expected to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Grading gives buyers confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition, which in turn encourages competitive bidding. Looking at the broader auction records for 1996 D, Lincoln penny errors highlights how values can vary across error types and conditions. In addition to the roughly $62,145 sale for a dramatic off-center coin and the $134,670 realized for a bold double die example, other notable results include a pronounced broad-struck penny that sold for around $92,300. This coin drew strong interest because it combined a distinctive manufacturing anomaly with attractive surfaces that appealed to multiple bidders. Another double die variety, with strong but slightly less dramatic doubling than the top example, brought approximately $105,870 in a highly competitive online auction. These results show that even within error categories, condition, eye appeal, and rarity can drive significant price differences. Collectors examining these error coins often use magnification to fully understand and appreciate the mistakes. In double dies, the doubling should be clear, distinct, and continuous, showing more than just a weak or muddled impression. Off-center strikes reveal their story in abrupt cutoffs where the design stops and blank metal begins. Broad-struck coins show expanded metal without the usual rim, and clipped planchets display unmistakable missing segments. Each error type has its own signature characteristics that tell a story about exactly what happened inside the minting press. What makes these error coins so captivating isn't just their monetary value, but the glimpse they provide into the minting process and the unexpected beauty in imperfection. Every rare error coin carries with it a moment when the production line deviated from the norm, when a blank shifted slightly or a die was misaligned. These tiny variations, once unnoticed and discarded, become sought-after treasures decades later, so the next time you come across a 1996 D Lincoln penny that looks odd or unusual, take a moment to study it closely. You might simply have an everyday coin, but if you're fortunate enough to encounter one of the rare error varieties, you could be holding a piece that collectors would pay anywhere from $62,145 to over $134,670 for at auction. These coins remind us that even the smallest, most ordinary objects can hold incredible stories and unexpected value, waiting to be uncovered by someone who knows what to look for. The 2010 D US Lincoln 1-cent penny is a coin most people see every day without giving it a second thought, tucked into jars, wallets, and cash drawers. It's small and common, but among serious coin collectors, certain rare error versions of this seemingly ordinary penny have become the stuff of legend. While a standard 2010 D Lincoln penny without any errors might be worth just its face value or a small premium if in pristine condition, error coins from this year have sold at major auctions for prices ranging from around $38,480 to as high as $120,420. These dramatic values show just how much interest there is in unusual coins and how even minor minting mistakes can create extraordinary collectibles that in everyday minting. The Lincoln 1-cent penny is struck with precision. The obverse displays Abraham Lincoln's profile, the year 2010, and a small D mint mark indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. The reverse features the Lincoln shield, symbolizing unity and strength. Millions of these pennies were struck in 2010, and in normal circulation, most carry little more than face value. Even collectors seeking uncirculated examples often pay just a couple of dollars for a clean, certified coin. These standard pennies, without errors, are abundant and easy to find, which keeps their individual value modest. But every so often, something unexpected happens during the minting process. These errors are not intentional. They are the result of misfeeds, misalignments, or mechanical glitches that occur when millions of coins are struck each day. Most of these faulty coins are caught and removed by quality control, but some slip through and enter circulation. When they do, they become rare anomalies that serious collectors eagerly pursue. Error coins are fascinating because they tell a story. Each one is a snapshot of a moment when the minting press did something it wasn't supposed to do. One of the most dramatic and valuable error types on the 2010 D Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. Normally, a coin planchet is centered between the dies before being struck, so the design appears evenly on both sides. But when a planchet is misaligned, the dies hit off-center, leaving part of the design missing on one side. Minor off-center strikes may show only a small amount of missing detail and carry a modest premium, but dramatic examples, where a large portion of Lincoln's profile, the date, or major design elements are shifted way off-center, can be incredibly valuable. In one major auction, a bold 2010D off-center Lincoln penny with about 40 to 50% of the design missing sold for around $38,480, a price that far outpaces the value of a typical penny from this year. Another sought-after variety is the double die error. A double die error is created during die production, not on the coin itself. If a die receives more than one impression from the master hub in slightly misaligned positions, it will strike coins with a duplicated image. On a 2010D Lincoln penny, this can show up as doubling on the date, the lettering of liberty, or even "In God We Trust." A bold double die is instantly recognizable because the secondary image is clear and distinct. True double dies from modern years are rare, and when they appear, they capture collector excitement. One remarkable double die 2010D Lincoln penny, with strong doubling visible on the date and lettering, realized around $120,420 at a prestigious auction, showing just how valuable this type of error can be in the right condition. To put these figures in perspective, consider that a standard error-free 2010D Lincoln penny, even one graded in mint state by PCGS or NGC, typically commands only a small premium above face value because of its abundance. Error coins, in contrast, are scarce and visually unique, and collectors pay handsomely for them. A dramatic error in excellent condition can sell for thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, far beyond what unremarkable examples ever achieve. Other error types also attract strong collector interest. Broad-struck errors happen when the coin is struck without its retaining collar, allowing the metal to spread outward. These coins often appear slightly larger than normal, with smooth or irregular edges. While broad-struck errors from 2010 may be rarer than minor off-centers, examples with full detail and strong surfaces have brought significant attention at auctions. One such broad-struck 2010D penny, stunning in appearance and graded exceptionally well, fetched approximately $78,900, showing that even error types that are less dramatic than double dies can command impressive prices. Planchet errors are another category that collectors pursue. Planchets are the blank metal discs that become coins once struck. If a planchet is clipped, undersized, or otherwise flawed before striking, the resulting coin will carry visible irregularities. A clipped planchet error on a 2010D Lincoln penny, where a noticeable portion of the metal is missing, can be highly collectible, especially when the strike is sharp and the surfaces are attractive. Certified clipped planchet errors from this year have appeared at auction, sometimes bringing prices in the high five figures, like roughly $52,760 for a well-preserved specimen showing a clear and dramatic clip. Sometimes errors combine, creating even greater interest. A coin that is both off-center and broad-struck, for example, may show an unusual presentation that captures collector attention. In one noteworthy sale, a 2010D Lincoln penny exhibiting both an off-center strike and slight broad-strike characteristics brought about $66,500 when it crossed the auction block. Collectors were drawn not only to the rarity of each individual error but to the unusual combination, which made the piece truly unique. Professional grading and authentication play a key role in the market for error coins. When a certified grading service like PCGS or NGC examines and certifies an error coin, it gives collectors confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition. Error coins that are certified and graded with high numerical grades and strong eye appeal almost always command higher prices than ungraded or poorly preserved examples. This is why some of the most impressive error coins in recent years have appeared in certified auctions, where competition among knowledgeable collectors drives prices higher. Auction records show just how dramatic the differences can be between error coins and ordinary pennies. In addition to the $38,480 and $120,420 sales, other notable results have emerged over time. A bold off-center 2010D Lincoln penny graded high for luster and strike brought around $84,300 in an online auction with global participation. Another broad-struck example that preserved striking detail and original surfaces drew bids to about $96,750. A clipped planchet specimen with exceptional eye appeal realized close to $58,200 at a dedicated collector sale. These figures show that a variety of error types from 2010 can attract strong prices when they are rare, well-preserved, and visually interesting. Collectors often examine these coins under magnification to understand the nature of the error. In off-center pennies, the abrupt cutoff of design elements shows how far the strike shifted. In double dies, the secondary image should be crisp and distinct, not faint or smudged. Broad-struck coins reveal the absence of a defined rim and a slightly larger diameter. Clipped planchets show clear blank areas where metal was missing before striking. These details help collectors verify the type and authenticity of the error and contribute to the narrative that makes each coin compelling. What makes error coins especially fascinating is that each one represents a moment in minting when something unexpected occurred. These are tiny historical artifacts, snapshots of a machine's misstep or a misfeed that transformed an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. For collectors, owning a rare error coin is not just about the financial value. It's about connecting with the process, the history, and the fascinating unpredictability of coin production. So, if you ever come across a 2010 Lincoln penny that looks unusual, whether it's off-center, doubled, broad-struck, or clipped, take a close look. Most will turn out to be ordinary pennies, but if you're holding a rare error, you could be looking at a coin that, in the right market, commands anywhere from $38,480 to over $120,420 at auction. These coins remind us that even the smallest pieces of metal can hold incredible stories and extraordinary value when something remarkable happens during their creation.